We are live on the Grow Clinton podcast. Jenny, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here comes the intro. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening to all you amazing listeners out there in podcast land? Thank you so much for tuning into this 200th episode.
Woo!
Hey, Jenny, I got something for you here.
I'm
You ready?
just waiting for it.
Holy cow, it's finally here. The day we've dreamed about so dear. Some said it wouldn't last too long, but look at us, we proved them wrong. 200 shows with Andy too. Jenny deserves her roses true. Let's cheer and praise this special day for all the laughs along the way. Thank you, listeners, get so sweet in 2026. We'll raise the heat.
That's right, 200 episodes. I love the internet. You know, that's 100% AI generated.
I just love it. It's great.
It's so cool.
So cool.
I won't play my Friday song because we have a 200th episode
Yeah.
song, but Jenny, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you so much for all that you've done to make us at 200 episodes.
Well, thanks.
I would be nothing.
That's not true.
Ask my mother. My mom consistently says that our dynamic, our back and forth banter, our kind of partnership in this whole podcast endeavor really makes the show.
Oh, that's so nice.
So thank you
and
for all
thank
that you
you.
do.
I would never have had this opportunity without you.
But none of this would be possible without our sponsors.
Let's do it.
Citizens First Bank, my check, courtesy of Citizens First Bank, making our finances and this audio crystal clear. New mics for the Grow Clinton podcast are proudly sponsored by the bank that's always in tune with our community. Find them at gocfb.bank. Citizens First Bank, banking as it should be. Member FDIC. Adcraft Printwear and Sully Sports. Adcraft's been in the custom apparel business since 1974. Over the years, they went from a small, locally run business, just really serving the Clinton, Iowa community, to now a cutting-edge operation providing top-notch, customized printwear to teams and companies all across the United States. AdCraftUSA.com for all your custom printwear needs. Miles Communications, the OG, original sponsor of the Grow Clinton podcast, ensures that we're hooked up with wicked fast, high-speed internet. If you're looking for internet, television service, telephone service for your home or business, check them out, milestelephone.com. LyondellBasell, a leader in global chemical industry, guided by the purpose of creating solutions for everyday sustainable living. LYB, as they're also referred to as, is committed to being a responsible, engaged neighbor in the communities where it operates through volunteerism, charitable giving, partnerships with local organizations. LyondellBasell aims to strengthen communities by supporting education, sustainability, and safety initiatives. LyondellBasell, solutions for a better tomorrow. Thank you to all of our sponsors for allowing us to reach this milestone of 200 episodes. Great show today, Jenny.
This is something where I'm going to say, first of all, we have a friend. I would say a
Friend.
a Grow Clinton family friend.
Friend. Keith
Yep.
Brooks,
Yes.
SKB Cyber, business and technology consulting. For anybody that's out there that runs a business and you think your security, your point of sale system, everything like that is safe, think again.
Yeah.
There's things that you have to do to ensure that you're complying with the rule of law and that you're keeping your customer information safeguarded from those icky hackers.
Yes.
Keith, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here. Love the new studio, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
last
you.
time you were in that shoebox of a studio. It was small, very intimate, man. Very intimate.
Hey, you put me in front of a microphone regardless.
Yeah.
That's kind of,
Yeah.
I got to listen to Karen eat soup.
But yeah, this is definitely an upgrade. So since we've seen you last, what has been going on at SKB Cyber, specifically what you've been involved in, and some updates to some certifications and training that you've received?
Sure. So, it's like anything else. The world doesn't slow down for very long, especially in technology and cybersecurity. I think we've done a we've always kind of tried to focus on educating the public and getting out in front of people. And so we do a lot of teaching and a lot of sharing, lunch and learn type community outreach type of things.
Because what you do is somewhat complicated and confusing. If you
Somewhat.
know, and we were talking earlier before we hit record, that there's a lot of acronyms in your world, as there was in mine as an air traffic controller. And sometimes we that are in the industry treat those acronyms like a language, and we
Right.
forget that the average listener has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, and compliance, this all goes back to compliance, right? So you get into the acronym world, HIPAA. A lot of us are familiar with HIPAA, right? Healthcare,
Just
PCI is
Information privacy stuff that
Yep,
you can't
yep.
share with people because their healthcare records are theirs and
Right.
confidential.
Yep. PCI is credit cards, same sort of thing. GLBA, banking, right? And there's a million of them around. CMMC is kind of something if you are
And that's
in-
the most recent training that you went through.
that is the most recent one,
Yeah.
yes. And it's kind of it's something that we have worked in for many years. It's been in some form of existence for a long time. I'll spare you all the details.
First of
where
all,
it came
can you
from.
tell us what CMMC stands for?
Yes, it's Cybersecurity Maturity Model certification.
Okay.
And so in the past, if you ran like a defense contracting shop or somebody who is dealing with federal contracts,
Right.
you would have had to follow something called NIST 800, 171, 172. They are, right. We're going back into
Got
the,
it.
yep. it's
That's
all-
what I was going to say. Jenny was thinking the
That's
same
right,
thing.
yeah.
I was going to let you guys tangent.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
And so, we look at what that is, and it's, you get a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet's got, 400 points of, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this?
Yeah.
And CMMC is the federal government's attempt to kind of distill that down to a more understandable, executable, manageable, attainable, trackable stance, right? Started in version 1, now we're in version 2. That whole thing kind of, it's been swirling for years, kind of hit the Federal Register here in September of last year, and it went official in November, meaning organizations that deal in federal contracts, dealing with data, classified data, unclassified data, federal contracts, even just if we're dealing with a building and the building is a federal building, you need to have some level of cybersecurity,
Yeah.
Now, what do you mean by when you say like federal contractors? I mean, we have some companies in the region that are part of a small business administration program known as 8A, 8 Alpha, and that allows them to have priority bid opportunities for government contracts.
Yep.
Do these companies need to comply with this standard?
Depends. And
Okay.
I think that is the
Wow.
joy of where
Yeah.
this whole thing tucks in. There's
Yeah.
levels, right? So if we are bidding on a contract to go sell something that you might be able to go buy off the shelf, no, you don't. If I'm just federal government wants to buy 100 widgets and I sell those widgets other places and they just want to buy them because it's something that they need to fulfill their needs, okay, fine, no need, right? But if I'm doing work and I'm going to get a contract, like a specific with details contract relative to the federal government, then I need to be level 1 certified. And if I'm dealing with unclassified confidential information, I need to be level 2.
And my guess
Yeah.
is some of these government contractors have no clue.
No.
No.
Right.
No, they're building things, they're
Mhm.
constructing things, they're doing commercial heating, ventilation, and air conditioning and airplane hangars.
Right.
They're not cyber smart guys that
No.
know how to comply with this. So that's
Right.
why you exist.
And that's why we need that. But what I'm so impressed with is that it takes thousands of people to come up with these rules.
Right.
And then you're one person
Right.
and you have to know it back and forth. I mean, that must have been really daunting.
Well, and so there's, this is the interesting part, is the regulation, the rule, the certification body on these things. You would go through what I would normally classify as like an audit. So if you're Citizens First Bank,
Mm-hmm.
you get audited regularly, yearly,
Right.
by several different entities, right? You have to comply by several rules. The FDIC is talking to you, the Fed's talking to you, the state's talking to you, right? We have to have external parties come in to make sure you have passwords and you have data backups and you test those things and stuff like that, right? that's not really existed in the manufacturing space. Like there's never really been a driving directive that says you got to do this and you have to come forward on it, right? And so basically what CMMC came along with is there's an audit, there's an assessment process, which is like an audit. And then prior to and then after that, there is a spot for a guide to kind of take you to that, get you prepared for it, push you into that process, support you through it, and then help you remediate on the back end. That's what I'm certified to go do.
Excellent.
That's a registered practitioner advanced is what I am. And when I passed my certification a little bit ago, there were 35 of us in the central time zone.
Oh.
There were like 2 in Iowa and a handful up by Chicago. And so that was part of the driving force is I'm talking to the Small Business Administration, Manufacturing Excellence down in Peoria. And they're going, there's not a lot of people who can actually do this. We don't have anybody at our disposal. And kind of up here too, right? I mean, Clinton's the same way. We've got customers in Cedar Rapids who struggle with the same thing, right? And it's like, so who do we call? We have to have somebody who really understands this, who adheres to it, who's got the certifications, who's comfortable guiding folks in and out of it, who's got the pedigree, if you will, to do it. And so it just became like an obvious thing to go sit through the certification.
So how does a
process.
company know? And you referenced manufacturing. And manufacturing for the longest time was a very analog process, meaning that there was human power behind turning on a machine and making it work.
Yes.
Now, what I find is Jenny and I walk through a lot of these plants, especially the maintenance of these machines is all done remotely via the internet.
Yeah.
So if they can
Non-site.
if they have access to Wi-Fi or they're connected to a nice fast fiber line, they can maintain that machine via the online computer that runs that machine, as opposed to coming in with a sack full of wrenches.
Right.
And I think that's where the cybersecurity really becomes an issue, is because there's probably things that are patented and those designs can be stolen if somebody can actually hack in to the machine itself and pull out designs and things like that.
And I think the other side of this is to understand manufacturing too, right? If I'm running a CNC shop, so we're making, you know, maybe we're precision machining things down to spec for military or otherwise, right? Or we are manufacturing that en masse, right? Or I don't know, heat treating, things along those lines, right? Bottom line is we're being handed specifications, diagrams, and then we hold the product, right? That's going into, use your imagination, right?
Right.
Okay, so those machines cost millions of dollars to put in the field. A lot of them run Windows. Okay, so what's the life cycle on Windows? Like 4 or 5 years?
So when you say Windows, you mean the operating system primarily used in PCs, personal computers?
Absolutely, yes. Stuff you'd find on a laptop, on your desktop, right? And so what happens, right? At the end of that life cycle, do we throw away the $1 million machine? No, we absolutely don't, right? We keep moving with that because that would be ridiculous.
Right.
And these things are built in, like it's not like we take the desktop sitting here and we pitch it because its cycle of life has come to an end. No, it's a 400-pound leg off the side of this thing. That's the machine that's doing the work, right? Okay, so what do we do with that? Because ideally it goes away because we can no longer protect it. We can no longer patch it. We can no longer maintain it. Microsoft is no longer going, this thing is safe. So now we have to think creatively about what do we do about this? And there are avenues to be able to isolate that and secure it and lock it away from the world.
Just to ensure that the information that's sensitive is harder to reach.
Yes. And then to your point, right, what do we want to do? Well, we'd love to be able to let the vendor come on and support this thing remotely from wherever they happen to be. Sometimes that's not possible, right? Because what does that mean? We have to open that up to the internet.
Right.
Is that safe? Right. And it's and again, like these are things that folks have dealt with forever. There's not been a lot of direction in saying you cannot do it this way. And basically what CMMC came along with is said, no, right? Okay, so now we have to get creative with the no, right? So how do we protect that? And there are means to do this. It's just not a lot of
Yeah.
these manufacturing environments were built to support that
Sure.
natively. So we're
And
in the
why
process.
government contracting is very lucrative if you can get into that space. I will say the United States government is somebody that used to hold the credit card for my squadron. At the end of every calendar year, they were telling me to go and spend every dollar on that bad boy because if I didn't spend all the money, they wouldn't get allocated the same amount of
Right.
money the next year. So fraud, waste, and abuse, it does exist in the military.
Yes.
My point being is that the military has several different, whether it's the armed forces or it's just of any federal department, has a lot of programs designed to support minority-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, allowing you the opportunity to compete for these contracts. And, we have a couple local businesses that take advantage of that. But you're right. As technology continues to advance, perfect example. So the F-117 stealth fighter, which is decommissioned, it has what's called RAM. So it's a radar absorbing material. That's what makes it stealth, right? So the RAM, when they land, they blow out a parachute or a chute behind them, a landing chute to stop the aircraft. That blows out pieces of that RAM, and people actually have to go out and pick that up because it is top secret. And the propulsion system also is top secret. So when we entered the war in Iraq, Operation Enduring Freedom, we'll say, obviously early 2000s, this is when social media was just becoming a big deal, specifically MySpace. And these people that were deployed were taking pictures of themselves with these aircraft in the background, violating operational security by putting on the internet the propulsion system for a highly classified aircraft. So it's funny how technology continues to progress, how we have to modify our security and the ways that we do things moving forward.
And that's a good point. I mean, in the future, what's coming up that's going to be the biggest exposure, the biggest threat? What, in your opinion? I know it's AI, but what I mean, right? I mean, but what is it?
Yeah.
What do you have to look out for? It's so big.
Well, I think it's so big, but I think human nature is to want to share and be recognized and to receive accolades and give accolades and things like that, right?
Be at the table.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And by nature, what does that what does that require? Right. And then how do you, now we're taking pictures and we're uploading them to Facebook and we're uploading them to Twitter and things like, X, sorry, I'm dating myself, but
I still say Twitter because I don't know how to thread X in
right.
there.
And I'm
It
an
just
old
sounds
guy,
weird.
so I know that's the old people versions of social
Right now,
media,
there's a group of kids listening going, MySpace. What was MySpace?
I was
Welcome
gonna say,
to
do
my
you still
world.
have your MySpace?
No.
Classmates.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, the reality is, I mean, if you we're stepping out of this quite a bit, but you look over the holidays, right? You guys have Facebook accounts.
Yep.
Did you have any friends who have their pictures all jazzied up and
AI.
take this picture of me and make me look like a candy cane kind of a deal, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's that mean? It means we uploaded our image into the large language model that is fed into Meta's AI, and it's now kind of consumed our likeness and spat back out some pictures. So there's the product, right? And here's the payment, your picture, here's your payment. And now that's part of the AI. That's part of the large language model.
And people don't get it. I mean,
And
I
they don't
don't.
get it.
This is
That's
fun.
what they want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Chat GPTs and some guy sitting there waiting for you to put in a prompt. I mean, they're pulling from all the information they've been able to scour the internet and collect.
Yeah.
So that's where the information's coming from. It's coming from all these different websites as a source.
Right.
And it's amazing how it works. I love it. I mean, I think it's cool.
It's very cool.
I
just
do,
because
yeah.
it's a tool, but it is scary because I know sometimes I'll get in conversations with my mom. She's like, well, I don't want to text that to you, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. We scrub out the address on the envelope that comes in with permanent marker. So if you put it in the trash can, it doesn't matter.
No.
Simple Google search will tell you exactly where you live.
That's right.
I can look up your property tax, your assessed value for your home. Everything's available on the internet at no cost. But for all the good that comes with it, there is bad. And that's why people like Keith at SKB Cyber exist. So now you talked a lot about, government contracting, manufacturing. We touched on banks. You said something about HIPAA, so healthcare.
Right.
But when you're reaching out to potential clients or customers of SKB Cyber, what are you looking for? What is your ideal person to work with? Is it what about a small mom and pop shop on Main Street that just has a computer attached to their point of sale system?
Yep. I think It's an interesting dynamic, right? Like obviously everybody, I think I've come out of a 30-year career with huge firms who are constantly chasing enormous organizations because 800-pound gorilla pays really
For like
good, right?
acquisition.
Well, just for work, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if
okay.
I can sell you $1 million project,
Sure.
great, right? And it really kind of irked me because I had always built my career and my foundations around small, mid-sized businesses. And that sounds like everybody goes, yeah, okay, really, whatever, right? But I'm one person and I'm going, I'd rather get to you and help you as minimally as you may need me and the minimal amount of time that you need, than see you go out there and make some terrible mistake, have an issue,
Right.
lose your data, lose your information, end up in trouble, right? Because for you, the cost is going to be low. Time for me is going to be minimal, right? We're going to get you in. We're going to take care of you. You're going to move real quick. We're going to get things done. And then you just have a sounding board, right? There's that, right? So the mom and pop shops, we have 2-person companies we deal with regularly. It's fine, right? I love it. I enjoy those relationships. It's great for us. It's
Oh,
good
they're
for the
probably the
community.
ones that need.
I
you
was
the
just going to
most
say
because
that's
they
clutch
have
for them.
No idea.
Right.
Right. And then we have multiple hundred user companies who are scattered all over the place. It's just a different relationship, right? So what's our ideal? I mean, I don't know that we have an ideal. If I had to lay one out, it's probably in that 20 to 200 right seat sort of company, but it just depends entirely on what your needs are.
Well, we'll put ourselves we'll put ourselves as an example. So the Chamber of Commerce, Grow Clinton, we work with small businesses, hundreds of small businesses all around the region. Nestle Purina Pet Care is not going to call me and ask me an IT question, right? Lyondell's not going to call me and ask me an IT question. However, somebody on Main Street may call and say, hey, I just picked up this new laptop. It came with Norton antivirus, free 90-day trial. Is this good enough? If I attach it to my point of sale system, run all my books through it, I use Intuit QuickBooks, is everything safe? Right. I will refer them to you.
Yeah,
I'm saying, is that the type of stuff that you work with?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is the timeline for this certification for the CMMC?
Well, for a company,
Right, for you.
yeah,
For you.
me doing
To
this.
be
Training, to get
certified. Yeah, for your
certified.
training.
Well, it's a tricky question. So part of the process is a background check, and you have to have, I don't know, 5 or 10 years of experience, and
Wow.
you're literally uploading every detail of your life to them,
Wow.
and then you're
Okay.
giving them your resume. And I mean, I have tons of experience, right? And then I'm involved with FBI projects. I'm just involved in a lot of different things that get me background checked frequently.
So it's not like somebody comes in, they say, oh, just, yeah,
No,
sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not an overnight thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the process for the level 1 certification is it's not unmanageable training, and then a test, and then the level 2 training was very much more in depth, understandably. And a test, right? But it's more of the foundation of what do you know, what's your background, do you actually have the chops to step into this and guide people through it? That's not something you're going to go out and grab a study guide and go achieve that, right?
Right.
That comes with experience. So
This is a big deal.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a reason there's not hundreds, if not thousands of people who are certified for this in a swath of the country the size of the central time zone. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I looked at that, I'm going, there's 34, I think it's the 34th or 35th person that was certified. It's like, and then if we're looking at the geography, it's, there's a couple in Illinois and a couple in Iowa and a couple in Indiana. It's like, there's a need for this. There's definitely a need
Well,
for
think
this.
of the large, cities, metropolises, and then all the big industries all over the Midwest.
And I think companies are, they're probably like, we're just going to go grab a certification. We're going to go grab the assessor and bring him in because we're in great shape, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably not. Like, even if you think you are,
Yeah.
the gaps, the understand, and again, it's like, it's my world, we live in it, right? I see it, and you sit back and you're like, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
We have Norton antivirus and QuickBooks,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Life is good. QuickBooks is a violation of CMMC,
Oh,
right?
who would know
To have
that?
a
would know
same
that.
machine.
It's an encryption problem, actually.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, most of our networking environments, if we haven't spent a fortune on networking, isn't going to pass CMMC level 2 certification. You're going to have to go upgrade it. You can't have machines that are end of life. So like Windows 10 is done. That exists in your environment. We have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
That's just scratching the base of the surface of this thing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Because people live by don't trouble, but then the rest of that is until
That's
trouble
right, yeah.
troubles you,
That's
and
right.
that could be one really bad day.
It's going to be tough. Now, what I'll tell you is you step into this and it's tough, and that's okay. But they do have recommended plan of actions. We do have kind of milestone based things. So if you can at least get yourself started on it, they have allowances that kind of allow somebody like me to come work with somebody like you to kind of go, okay, here's where we sit.
Mhm.
And then here's our plan of action. Right. And the
Right.
plan of action can go on for a while, but so long as we have that laid out and we're meeting our milestones, you can continue to do work. It's
Oh
not
my
meant to shut you
gosh.
down. It's
Yeah.
meant to give you an avenue to go seek help, to find somebody to go start to resolve your issue.
Now, when you receive the certification, do they provide you with a database of those Midwest companies that work with the government? I mean, I'm sure it's public information.
That would be amazing, but no, they do
Why
not.
make it
And-
easy?
And yeah, and that's part of my challenge now is like, so how do you, so again, we're Peoria, you're here, right? It's like, is Lyondell going to come looking for that? No, right? They're not, Nestle Purina. Well, not only are they probably not the right demographic anyway, but they're too big. They have an IT team in house. They're not going to come looking. It's everybody that's just a peg below that that's going to go, oh, we were supposed to do this in November. Shoot, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
And then they start bidding on contracts and they're like, hey, well, what's your CMMC score?
What is
Yeah,
that?
what are you talking about?
Right,
Yeah.
Right. And then we begin this process of the panic, right? And here's the other thing I'll tell you is I think there's a really vast misunderstanding as to who needs to certify for what. If you're just dealing with contracts, so you're not necessarily getting the diagrams for the part of a missile or a jet engine
Right.
or something, you don't probably need to be the higher end certification. You need to get the lower one. That's a lot easier to achieve, but it does require process,
Right.
right? The problem with level 1 is you actually have to have all that in check. There is no kind of there's no plan of action on that. You're either certified or you're not.
Or you're not.
The other level 2, well, now we can have a plan of action.
But you
So-
did say that even if they're just starting out and they have no idea, or what
Yeah.
are you talking about a score, they can continue to work as long as
Yeah.
they're working on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
Very interesting. So,
Jeez.
Keith,
It's a lot.
our audience for this podcast varies,
Yeah.
and
I'm sure this is
one of the people that watch the podcast are young professionals, even students.
Oh yeah.
If somebody's in, let's say, senior year of high school and they love computers, they love technology, and they want to do what you do as a consultant and a certification and all these different acronyms, what career path do you recommend as far as post-secondary education?
Sure. So, a loaded question, Andy.
Well, I'm just saying, is there a
I like it.
degree? Is there
There
a
are-
4-year thing? Does it matter? Is there
Yeah.
a certification? Is
Yeah. So, okay. Yes, and I think it's an awesome question, actually. If we were talking about this 3 years ago, go find yourself a degree in cyber, find a degree in computer science, find a degree in. But what we're starting to see is the likes of, and again, I'm from Peoria, right? So Caterpillar, Komatsu, federal government, all these other places are starting to drop those 4-year degree requirements for a lot of these sort of careers. Why? Because it's almost like the trades, right?
Right.
Like I'll be here, full disclosure, I started this without even an associate's degree. And I had companies that like I went to apply for, and they're like, the guy doesn't have a bachelor's degree. And I had bosses go fight for me to come on their team. And now I have a master's degree, right? Like I decided it was worth doing and went back to school in my 30s and 40s and got it done. But I will tell you at this point, like down in Peoria, we have ICC Bradley, Erie College, University. I don't remember the name of the actual university,
whatever.
but there's a IT career accelerator program going on where you can get free training through the community college. I don't know if CCC is doing the same thing, but you can go and you can learn specific skill sets. You can certify on them. So if you're a young person and you're interested, I would tell you there's A+ and things along those lines, the CompTIA certification programs. Like go learn, dip your toe in the pool, see if you like it. If you like it, continue, right? Continue through the next certification and the next certification, because this is a career that's very highly driven by pedigree. So,
Yeah.
and by pedigree, I mean certifications count. They mean something. You may not have a 4-year degree, but that doesn't slow you down from being an incredible success doing this.
See, that's what, son, I wouldn't have never guessed. I would have thought, oh, you've got to go through all the business college, you have to go through all the training, all the IT training, and all, you know, this is, and get the degrees. But
And the challenge with that is, if you think about how fast technology moves versus how fast education
Right.
can move behind it,
Right.
right? So if you're coming out of school with a degree in, I don't know, programming, cybersecurity, technology of some nature, right? And you're going out into the field, I know if I'm bringing you on my first 6 months to a year, training you to do your job, because you've never seen any of the technology we're touching.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And we're not necessarily bleeding edge. I'm not out there in front of, like, you know, the next, you know, stealth fighter, right? It's not that. It's like we're just implementing into normal environments and some high security environments. But the reality of it is, like, these certification programs are on top of it, and they're updating their curriculum every, you know, 6 months to a year. So they tend to be up on the arc. And if you can take the time, and so here's the other deep secret to this whole thing, right? These careers favor, like, the hobbyist. And I will explain. By that, I do not mean that you have to, you know, this has to become your hobby. What I mean is, you have to find an interest in this outside of the career. You have to want to learn. This is a learning career. I'm 51 years old, and I'm still in learning mode every single day of my life. I'm taking certifications several times a year. I'm teaching when I'm not. You know what I mean? And it's because that's what makes you relevant in this career.
Right.
You're not going to go to school, get your stuff, walk into a career, and never go back to school. You're going to be learning the entire time.
I'm
right.
sure there's some continuing education that you have to
There's
maintain.
a ton of it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, that's whenever we walk into schools, everybody in our office here, whenever we engage students, one of the things we always say is, like, identify the career that's going to be available for you.
Right.
Right.
It's what you may be interested right now. I mean, there's a study out there, and I can't remember the percentage, but basically it's a very strong percentage of careers that are going to be available in the next 10 to 15 years don't even exist yet. Meaning there's no name to apply, and there's no job description. Nobody even knows they need them.
Right.
But within, you know, half a, let's say a decade from now, or even 10 years, there's going to be jobs created that are brand new to the workforce, and they're going to require a new set of skills. So start getting involved. And like what you said, it's like, I'm not going to work at a bakery if I hate baking.
Right.
You're not going to work in the IT field or cybersecurity field if you have no just like deep rooted love of technology.
Right. Right. And learning.
And learning.
all
Yeah.
the time.
I you know, and it's like my problem is, if you stagnate me for too long, I just lose interest, right? And
Right.
it's like, and I think there's a lot of us out there in the world. It's kind of interesting when I get in a room. So I do a lot with the scouting. Okay, I always have. I'm very, very involved. I'm still involved. And so I
You
always
do like virtual campouts.
yeah, take me in the woods, we'll be fine, right?
Yeah,
But it's amazing to me when we sit back and it's like, okay, there's definitely a person that fits into that, right?
Sure.
We're not afraid of woods. We're not afraid. You fit that demographic,
No,
right?
I love it.
Right. And it's like, so we sit back and we start talking. Well, like 80% of us are involved in the IT field. Well, why is that? Constant change. There's no 2 days that are the same. We don't get bored at work because we don't do that very well. You know, we're good with people, right? I mean, and you don't have to be great with people. If you want to sit in a corner and do your thing, there's a spot for that too.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's sort of funny to me because I just assumed that I was kind of this one weird one. And then as we start getting to know each
There's
other,
others.
there's so many others. Right? Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
belong here.
But all, like every time you mention IT, people still revert back to the old SNL skit with Jimmy Fallon and the he had like 6 pagers around
Nick
his belt.
Burns.
Company computer
guy.
guy, move.
Boom.
Yeah, no, but that's what you do, Keith, is awesome. You and Stacy created something that has been very successful in SKB Cyber. And, you know, in closing out this broadcast, we will just say, if you're listening and you know of anybody that's struggling with technology, you know, don't call Keith if, you know, maybe you lost a picture that you wanted off of your iPhone. But especially if you're starting a business and you have somewhere where you could potentially store credit card numbers. Not only do you have to have certain systems set up to ensure the safety of those numbers, but there's also like insurance out there you can buy or should buy. I know we have it here, cyber insurance or something like that protects us if there's ever a data breach and we lose people's information. Now, we don't really save that, but again, I don't think we do, but I'm sure this guy logs in, he could probably find the breadcrumbs.
Okay, so
right?
We'll find it.
Here's the thing. Right at the beginning of the show, we said, if you think you're okay, and I don't need that. Really?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Should probably check into it.
Should probably check into it. And I think that's part of the challenge with IT right now is, you know, if we were doing this 10 years ago to open a business, we're buying servers and software and hardware and all this stuff, right? Now we go buy a Google Workspace subscription or a Microsoft 365 or something like that. And what I'm finding is healthcare organizations, government agencies, not-for-profits, they've built this themselves. And they're like, it's great until they kind of have something happen.
One time.
And then we get the phone call and they go, I've been nervous about this for years. And I go, okay, let's go look, right? And I am not the judgmental type. We're going to sit down and go crawl underneath the covers of this thing and see what's going on. And then we just have a really plain conversation because 98% of the time, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's resolvable easily. It's just not, you didn't know and you've never experienced it because you don't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I sit down and have a quick conversation with you. Go, look, here's what's going to change. And here's the differences. And it may be bumpy for a couple of days, but at the end of it, you're going to come out. Everything's going to be safe. We're going to have great eyes on this stuff. You're going to know exactly what's going on here, you know, and we start to, and it's funny because they all think it costs a fortune. And what we end up doing is packing services on top of services, and we end up saving them money at the end of the day, which is like, and everybody's stunned when it happens, which is pretty funny. But we've done this enough times that, I'm not surprised by it anymore.
Well, and don't fool yourself. I mean, this is a gift. What you can do is a gift. Honestly, it is. I don't understand. I know you're not going to believe this, but I don't understand a lot of this.
What?
And I know, right?
That's why Jenny comes in and turns the on-air sign on.
That's my job.
We're here.
That's my job.
We're here.
But you got to call somebody who knows. I mean, if you think you can do it, you can't. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's cool.
And,
I clearly we get along, right? We've known each other for years.
Yes.
I'm not a scary person.
No.
I'm not going to push you on anything.
I've never woken up in a deep sweat because I had a bad dream about Keith Brooks.
Right? Have the phone conversation. The phone conversation costs you nothing. It takes no time at all to just kind of go, here's where I think we have a concern. It doesn't cost you a dime.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. I got a whole team full of nerds. We're all super friendly. We all get along with the people, right? I just stop being afraid. I'm not the dentist. I'm not the guy that's going to, oh, hey, your transmission's dead. That's 10 grand. It's not that, right?
Yeah.
So.
And chances are, if you're a company and you're walking around going,
yeah,
at least make sure that's okay.
Right, exactly.
And make sure
Don't worry, it's in the cloud.
It's fine.
That's what cracks me up. People complain about all these data centers. It's like, well, I don't want data centers in my backyard. It's like, oh, but you like having access to social media,
all of it.
storing all your information in the cloud, the 6,000 photos that you've taken over the course of 2 years, all that stuff. Where do you think it goes?
Right.
Well,
it's not just, the cloud is not something that's just in the sky.
Right.
It requires a large building full of servers that is mega cooled, usually through water or some other form of cooling. And it requires a lot of electricity. So to me, it's like, I want to have all these things in the palm of my hand, but I do not want to see a data center anywhere close to where I live.
Right.
You can't, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
No.
And all the conveniences that we have, especially, your personal stuff matters, but your business stuff, if it can destroy your business, you better know that you're okay.
We're in 2026, 2008. I'm sitting in Iraq and I get a notification that somebody tried to purchase a vehicle using my social security number and my father's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Not a coincidence. So we don't carry around a shared wallet. I mean, how did somebody know like my father? So somewhere online, they were able to source my father's birthday and then my social and just try to sneak by because the last name obviously was the same. And so that's 2008.
And that's just gotten more and more and more complex. I mean, we all get the 8 million junk phone calls and emails.
Yes.
Right? Where's it come from? I mean, and you I don't know if you guys ever watched Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Dark web, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's a real thing. And
the kids in their basement.
Right. And it's But there are sources very easily accessible to go grab Jenny's information.
Yeah.
It's probably some of it's bogus, but my information's out there. Andy's information's out there. Hey, guess what? Your information is out there too.
It
I don't wanna be
is.
the bearer of bad news, but
And it's the worst when you run into somebody that has no idea they're being catfished or scammed. And they're like, so-and-so just needs money, or I met some young lady online and she's asking me to send her money for a plane ticket. And it's like, pump the brakes, dude, because I know you're in love, but
no, once money
Sasha
comes
does
up,
not exist.
Yeah, once the money comes up, you're done.
I always say to Stacy, I'm like, she says I talk too much. I talk too much, but
we like it.
It's a podcast. It would suck if you didn't talk.
But I'm always like, I think at some level we as a society need to just become more suspicious. We just do, right? I think we take for granted that everything's okay, and we have rules and regulations for a reason on everything, and life is good, and nobody's trying to get our stuff. People are trying to get your stuff all day, every day. They're trying to break into your car. They're trying to get into your house. Guess what? Double that for anything intellectual property, online, monetary, whatever, right? This is how people make their money. It's how they feed their families. This is very, very big business. And we are regarded as a very rich country with all the resources. So guess what? We are the international #1 target.
And this is why we need you.
Right.
And that's Jason Statham, the beekeeper.
The beekeeper.
You gotta watch. You haven't seen that yet, the movie?
Oh, you told me to watch it. I know. I've got to watch it.
Good one. All right. Well, Keith, I want to thank you, and Stacy, if you're listening, thank you so much for your continued involvement in our community. Thank you for bringing top-notch IT security cyber service to our region so that all of our companies, regardless of their size or location throughout the region, can depend on you to help make sure that they are secure. Because the last thing you want to do is have a security breach and find yourself in a courtroom.
No doubt.
All right.
Or not know what to do.
Keep you off the news. That's my main thing. I'm always like, we keep you off the news. We've done our job.
Well, like what Target had that huge data breach several years ago, and all the time. Social security numbers are being leaked. I remember back in the day in the military, it was a HIPAA violation. Well, it was actually a security violation in general because some young airman took some medical records that he thought were garbage and pitched them in the outside dumpster, and they were later found. And it was hundreds of medical records. So everybody's first name, middle name, last name, birth date, full social, and then all their medical history.
And he didn't mean anything by it.
No, just a mistake.
Doing his thing,
We did an evaluation one time, a security evaluation, and we went in and there was somebody opening up a safe, and I just out of my peripheral, I could see this young airman looking up, and I'm like,
oh, weird.
Well, guess what? They decided to write the code, the combination for the safe on a ceiling tile because they couldn't remember it.
Tricky.
And it's like, come on.
Man. Nobody will figure that out.
You know what our gold benchmark is? When somebody goes, our environment's secure, and we get brought in to do an assessment, I walk around and I said, okay, cool. We pick up the keyboards and we look underneath them because about 80% of the time we'll find somebody's username and password. Right?
No way.
Or they're sticky
100%.
on the monitor. Or,
100%.
In
the drawer right here. It's just we can, and the thing is, like, we can do all the technical safeguards we want. It's human nature is generally the challenge. So it's training. It's a lot of training. It's kind of repetitive. It's something we're testing, we're benchmarking, right? Again, the banks know all about it. They do it all the time. It's just it's time everybody else kind of jumps in. Anyway,
we'll close out this show. I know we've been talking a lot, and but I geek out over this stuff because I become very dependent on like LastPass. Because it's what LastPass is the program you can use where you create one master password and then it protects all of the remaining of your password. But if LastPass is open on your browser and you're logged in, you can go to any website you want where I have an account and
everything's open.
It's already open. So all these little things, Jenny.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you again to listening to the 200th episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. We'll be back next week with some more episodes. Again, Citizens First Bank, AgCraft Printwear, Sully Sports. Be sure to check out Sully's. They're open now on Mill Creek Expressway right there in the Lions Business Technology Park. Miles Communications, wicked fast high-speed internet. Hit them up if they're not in your neck of the woods. They're on their way. That's milestelephone.com. And, of course, Lyondell Bissell, solutions for a better tomorrow. Plastic everything.
Everything
But not
you
only do
touch.
they manufacture high density, low density polyethylene pellets, they're also the world's leader in recycling research and making a big dent, ensuring that we don't have these gigantic floating islands of
Yep.
plastic out in our oceans. So
The
kudos
best.
to Lyondell.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Again, growclinton.com if you want to learn more about our organization. Until I talk to you in the future, stay classy, folks. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.